only punting, I mean.
Yep.
How has that helped you kind of hone in on your craft?
Yeah, it's what I was brought here to do. So I think it's just taking like a big load off my shoulders, just to come in every day and just work on my punting and my holding, and something that I see myself doing at the next level, and I'm going to make a push for that. So Chris Howard has done a great job here, and he's just making the job a lot easier for me.
And then on punting, obviously your range is great, but
Yeah.
probably more importantly is your ball placement and what you've been
Yep.
able to do. How much time, like what goes into to the ball placement in terms of just how do you perfect
Yeah.
that in practice?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that affect what kind of punt I'm going to hit, whether it's wind in the stadium that day or what the returner likes. So I'll kind of give him something different every now and then. So it's really just there's a lot of different things that go into it, and the spot on the field also plays a big role. Whether I can hit that spiral type punt where you get max distance and hang time, or I get that end over end rotation that can dig into the ground and kind of bounce backward, kind of like a golf chip shot. So almost like a golfer, just trying to have as many clubs in my bag that I can use and use in different times during the game to be effective.
Notice you also shaved your mustache. Is that kind of helping this season a little bit? New look, different outlook, and everything.
Yeah, so my first year at Tennessee, it was just kind of a tradition that every fall camp, from fall camp day one, you have to have a mustache, and you go all through fall camp. And then last day of fall camp, you shave it off. So I kept that as long as I could. I brought it here with some of the specialists, and it's been a really fun tradition to do every year.
So you shaved it just at the end of camp.
Yeah, and a fall camp. Yep, last day. So it's been off for a while. My fiance appreciates. She loves that. So.
What's it been for you, just kind of being able to just last game obviously had 3 punts inside the 10. What's it like for you, kind of just being able to show off just not the range, but getting the ball where it needs to be downfield, and it just kind of helps flip the field a little bit.
Yeah, well, it feels great just because we practice it, all during the week. So whenever you practice them during the week and then it actually happens during the game, it's the best feeling in the world, just because you know that all that time and preparation, everything that you've done has, you know, gone the right way. So you got to give props to snapper Colby Cox, and then Julian Barnett, Savante, all those guys that are covering down there doing their job too. It's really not a one-man job. It's all 11 guys working collectively, and I can't praise those guys enough either.
How free has it been for you just to concentrate on that? Because you got a new relationship with your long snapper.
Yep.
You got to get the chemistry right, and you only have to do one thing this year. But you're doing one thing well, but you're doing one thing this year.
Yep.
How free have you been able to do just to experiment and add to your bag?
Yeah, it's something that we've been working since spring ball and all this summer too. It's been a process, just trying to kind of figure out what I like, what he likes, and just working together, because we're going to do whatever gets the job done, regardless whether it might be unorthodox or whatever that we do, but whatever we can do to win the game and flip the field, that's what we're going to do. So it's really been a process from spring ball, and then bringing Colby in this summer. We had to kind of get started really quick and try to figure out this whole operation, and then we've got it, fine-tuned and everything with Coach Bankin. So he's done an excellent job, and we're going to continue to work on it.
What do you mean by unorthodox? Give us an example of what do you mean by out of the norm?
I guess it really is just types of punts that we do. I mean, it can be tricky for returners to make decisions, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get these guys that are so talented and so effective with the ball in their hands. We're doing our best job to keep it away from them. So that's really the main goal. And whether I'm giving them a tight spiral that come over nose down, or one that hangs and kind of might come down a little bit slower, or that end over end ball that kind of will go back left and right, that's kind of just something that make it a little trickier for them to catch. And we're going to keep pressing and doing what we can to make it a little bit tougher on them this year.
So each week, in terms of your preparation, what you're going, your mindset of going in as a punter is kind of dictated off of the returner you're kicking to.
Yeah, that could play a huge role. It's like Sam Cook, who's been with Baltimore, he just retired this past year. He always talked about punting against Antonio Brown, and the best way people are thinking of ways, best ways for Antonio Brown to feel uncomfortable. The best way you can is just keep the ball away from him. So, really, those guys that are in there right now are just so effective and so dangerous with the ball in their hands. We're doing our best to just keep it away from them and flip the field as much as we can.
And then how important is when you're trying to pin a punt inside the 10-yard line or whatever,
Yeah.
just the teamwork of the coverage team and
Yeah.
making sure that they grab that punt when they need to.
Yeah, it really is everyone doing their job, all 11, because guys that are blocking, they can't let, they got to stay on their block, make sure that we have good timing so I can get the ball off, and everyone covering downfield, gunners going down inside the 5, down inside the 10. I read a stat that every single time you down a punt inside the 10, I think your team averages a little over 3 points. So technically, as a punter, I'm not scoring any points, but in my mind, I get to think that every single time I down a punt, I'm scoring 3 points for the team, which kind of can change the game. So that's kind of what we do. We're trying to be effective and get as close as we can to the 1 yard line, and it really is a team effort to do that.
What do you think you learned the most maybe from last year? Obviously, not what you expected coming, but just the challenges of balancing both two. Did that kind of teach you something that you're kind of applying now this year?
Yeah, I think it really teaches. I think most of all how to take care of your body and stay ahead of it. And I've worked with the strength coaches a ton this off season and during the season too, just trying to make sure that I feel great all the time. And I'm feeling the best I ever have right now, which is I think a really good reason to why we're kind of hitting the ball really well right now. So we're going to keep staying ahead of recovery and feeling good. So by the time we get to week 10, week 12, whatever it is, that I'm still feeling pretty close to how I feel right now.
And then Silverfield told us that I think when you had that first conversation, I think he said you were really happy not to go back to kicking duties. But just what was that conversation like for you? Were you kind of relieved, or were you kind of like, all right, let's show what I can really do now? Or what was that conversation like?
Yeah, I'm always down. I brought it up to them when the opportunity came about last year. I came up to them and I was like, hey, I'll give it a shot if you guys need me to. And having Chris here this year, it really does take a load off my shoulders, and I'm feeling good, and I think they're happy about it too, because we got a guy that's consistently done it for a while and has proven that he can be an elite kicker. So having both of us here kind of concentrating on our what brought us here has been it's been awesome. So
Will we see you throw a pass this year, if you know what I mean?
guess we'll have to find out.